Well, thank you for having me. And as Mike very often in today's program has used the word grateful, this month is our month of talking about gratitude and gratefulness. So I am going to talk to you about it. Gratitude is a part of mindfulness, along with giving thanks and appreciation for all the experiences, past and present, and for what we have. We can choose to accept what was and what is by integrating an attitude of gratitude. Our experiences, the ones we label good and bad, have gifted us with lessons. We have learned something of ourselves and others. Let us think of our errors, bad experiences, and burdens as lessons too. Here are some thoughts I found relevant from others. When we focus on gratitude, the tide of disappointment goes out and the tide of love rushes in. That's from Kristen Armstrong, an Olympic gold medalist in cycling. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. That's by Melody Beattie, a self-help author. It's wise to accept that human faults are inevitable. Factor that in and keep going. From author and activist Alice Walker. The secret of happiness is to count your blessings while others are adding up their troubles. That's from William Penn, the influential Quaker. Maybe we have to know the darkness before we accept the light, by Madeleine L'Engle, from her children's book, a dear favorite of both mine and Elaine's, A Wrinkle in Time. And lastly, at my quotes that I'm taking from it, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. And that's from Anansi Nin. Here are some ideas on how to develop your gratefulness practice. Gratefulness practice number 1, the gifts of responsibility. Write down 5 things you have to do in your day or this week. Now, write those same things with these 3 words, I get to. And then end with, when other people cannot. Feel your responsibilities as blessings and privileges. And here's the second gratefulness practice. Tell the truth. When asked how you feel, and it's not the best, answer with, not great, but grateful. When we change the way we see things, the things we see change. Dwelling on small joys is more rewarding than obsessing over little annoyances. Remember, everything is grace. The Buddhist monks say to be grateful for the good and the bad that comes to you, for we can develop through those lessons. The gratitude we think we have for our past, if it's only partial, thinking of only the good things, our hope for a different future will never be full. After all, gratitude can be a form of discipline that involves conscious choice and effort. Once we start on that track, our choices between gratitude and resentment gets a little easier with each of our efforts. If we can face the painful moments, we will gradually discover by examination they are not punishments or negativity, but a form of clearing out or letting go and growing. An attitude of gratitude can make a profound difference in your daily life. The difference between seeing stumbling blocks or stepping stones is how we perceive and use them. Our fumbles can be signals that become our strengths or renewed selves. The Buddha has called suffering one of the holy truths because it is the capacity of showing the path to liberation. Let it lead you on the way of peace. Once we realize that by reflecting on what we have, we can put an end to our limited perception, we can face the difficulties and grow new happiness. Remember, suffering and joy are both in temperament, so cultivate joy. There's an Estonian proverb that states, "Who does not thank for little will not thank for much." Showing gratitude is one of the simplest things humans can do for each other. As Anne Frank wrote, think of all the beauty that's still left in and around you and be happy. For it's gratitude that enables us to receive and motivates us by returning the goodness that has been given to us. It makes us a better human. When you get a piece of that happiness, don't forget to really enjoy it. So here's a technique that might help you. It's from the book, The Way of Gratitude. In it, Kelly Wheeler wrote of 5 inspirational ways to gain gratitude. 1, change your perception. Imagine waking each morning without anything you didn't thank God for the night before. Mother Teresa said, "Yesterday is gone. We only have today, so let us begin." So remember, each sunrise offers the promise you can change your life story's ending. 2, interact with people. Be the living expression of God's kindness in your face, in your eyes, in your smile. This week, I got a phone call from a gentleman that was asking why I hadn't paid a certain bill, and I explained that I had. He called me back the next day to tell me that he straightened it all out with the hospital. And I thanked him, and he goes, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Thank you for taking the time and calling me back." I couldn't believe how he was thrilled. I said, "Well, don't other people thank you?" He goes, "No, never." So I'm glad that I did that little tweak to that man's day for him. Do good works. God does not require us to succeed, only that you try. Number 4, focus on family and friends. Sometimes making a difference in the world just means making a difference in someone's life, however small that gesture may be. Haven't you all probably seen somebody in a parking lot fumbling with their bags from the groceries? Just stop and ask if you can help or assist them. They're overwhelmed, and it really changes their path for the rest of the day. And lastly, number 5, love yourself. Be faithful in small things because it is in them that your strength lies. That's from Mother Teresa also. Just remember, when you're giving out love, support, and happiness, save some for yourself. So far in my life, it's usually been what I've perceived as failings or mistakes that have more deeply taught me lessons. I offer to you to think about your mistakes or omissions as signals to pay attention and consider making alterations. These are great lessons to be grateful for. Your blessing of being human in all its frailty is something to be grateful for, since it allows you to develop tenderness for others. I like to think of the quote, "Gratitude is the most exquisite form of courtesy. It is gratitude that enables us and motivates us to repay the kindness to others. It lets us show our human kindness and be grateful for what we've received." Thank you.